Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at the two-player game Kingdomino Duel, published by Blue Orange Games. So let's go ahead down to the table. I'll give you a really brief overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is Kingdomino Duel. This is basically a setup for a two-player game of Kingdomino Duel. Other than what you see here, you'll also get a pad of sheets that you can use to play the game multiple times. I like to laminate a couple of them so that when I run out of the scoreboard, I'll always have this and I don't have to worry about printing out more or anything like that. Now, if you've ever played Kingdomino, this is very similar. The way you're going to play, in how you place your dominoes and how you score. We're going to go over that in a second. So the basic gist of the game, which I'm not going to go over the rules, I'm just going to give you a basic idea how you play the game, is you're going to roll these dice, and when you roll these dice, if you are the active player, and you'll take turns switching between the two of you, who's the active player, you're going to select one die, and your opponent will select two dice, and then you get the remainder. Now, these die faces all mean something different. The question, you can pick what symbol you want. Anything with an X on there is basically like if you play Kingdomino, that's a crown. This is going to be how you're going to get scores for these different things at the end of the game. Now, let's say I rolled this. For placement rules, I can place anything adjacent to the castle, so it can be any symbol. But beyond that, after I place these, so let's say I place these here, I would mark them off on my board. I'm going to just do this real quick. Not the best in the world, and I'm going to cross off that X. After that, so let's say this is my next one, I can place this die against the castle, or if I have at least one matching to the previous symbol, I can place them existing there. Now, if I can't place the dice at all, then I don't get to place them. Like if there's no legal placement on the board, I don't get to place these, and they're lost for that round. So you'll continue filling out this board, and the game ends when someone has completely filled out their board. At that point, you'll score. Now, similar to Kingdomino, the way it's going to score is you're going to look at each of these different symbols. You're going to see all of the areas they are in, and let's say I have something like this, and I have something like this over here. Now, I know I didn't fill out the rest, but this would be 1, 2 times the number of X's I have, which would be 0 points. But this one here would be 1, 2, 3, but I have one X here, so it gets 3 points. If I had two X's here, it would be 6 points. And you're just going to score straight down that. And this one's on something special. I'll go over in a second. But you're going to score straight down that, and the person with the highest score at the end of the game wins. Now, special rule, because you got this really cool spell book in the middle of the board, and this is how that guy works. If you roll a die and it doesn't have an X on it, so this one doesn't have an X, you can cross off one of these on here if there's a space available. If you cross it off all the way to the end here, and you're the first one to do it, you get to have the special ability. These special abilities work as follows. The top one here, you don't have to follow adjacency rules. So like I said, where you had to have a matching symbol or be against the castle, you don't have to do that. This one here, you can split your die up instead of having to place them in a pair, and you can place the single dice. This one here, you get to, when you're the first player, you get to select two dice instead of one die and let your opponent select two. And once you fire off these abilities, you're just going to cross them out that you did them. This one here, you'll get to re-roll one of your dice after you take it, which is really nice. And then we have two left, and these ones are pretty cool. So this one right here, that one lets you choose a coat of arms, and each different domain with this coat of arms will earn you 3 prestige points at the end of the game, which is really, really nice. And the last one is add 1 cross to your coat of arms of your choosing, so you can actually just cross off one of these areas, which is also really nice. So the spell book in the middle is really cool. It gives you a different way of trying to race for these. Sometimes you're going to choose the ones with the X because they'll give you the multiplier points. Sometimes you're going to pick the one out because you want to try to get those abilities on the spell book. But that's basically it. So that's a gist of how to play the game. That's how you're going to score it. I didn't go over all the rules, but I just gave you the general overview of how to play. Let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Kingdomino Duel. So Kingdomino Duel is a light, fast, roll and write game, which I really like the dice drafting in the game, and I really like that, the spell board on there where you can race to try to get one of those abilities in there. The game plays in like 20 minutes or less, importantly, or less, especially if you have become accustomed to playing it. This is a really great game to play with like a significant other or just a friend at the end of the night. It's a good game to bring out and be able to easily teach in a very, very short period of time and get into the strategy of the game. So I do recommend it for that. If you're looking for the next best roll and write, this isn't quite at that level, but what matters is it's still fun. So it's just good if you're looking for like a 2-player only roll and write dice drafting game that you can easily carry around and bring out when you have some downtime with a friend or significant other. I would recommend the game for that. So that's my thoughts on Kingdomino Duel. Thank you for watching.